Life.
Yeah?
Yes.
Hi! So, we're back. Last week was kind of a, well, it was not kind, it was a hard week for us. It was not specifically, like, we had some issues that we had to go through and we weren't prepared for, and then the next day.
Such as, you gotta explain.
Oh, okay, so such as, so we went to a spine doctor on Tuesday, a spine specialist for Luke.
Due to his scoliosis.
Yeah, because Luke, I don't know if you guys are familiar with neuromuscular disease. Most of them, they have low tone. And low tone means that they're a little floppy, and I would say that in Portuguese, um pouco molinhos, and that it's because Luke has the muscle weakness. It makes it like whenever he's sitting up against gravity, his spine starts going like this.
As you can imagine too, as he grows, the muscle not strong enough, so the tendency is to his spine collapse to one side or to the other.
Yeah.
So we went to the orthopedic doctor, and then so the hard part was because like as we as an athletes and stuff, like we're always trying to look for a solution, even if the solution is like surgery or anything like that. So when we went to the doctor, he said like it's pretty much nothing we can do except for keep trying to get him stronger. So that was pretty hard on us because like we try to always give the best possible, and then so to kind of have the news that first was nothing we can do about it.
Yeah, so we have the Xray here. Okay, sorry.
Second, like not being able to, and then he said that they usually don't do surgeries with kids with trach on the spine because it can be very hard on the respiratory part of it. So we were kind of like, okay, because we were expecting at least to have some ideas of what we can do besides of what we're doing it, but technically there's not a whole lot. And then on top of that, the very next day, the next day we went to the doctor, but on Wednesday when we do the live videos, we received the news that one of the Nemalai myopathy family lost their child, and he was just a little bit older than Luke. She was about a year older than Luke. So that combined, the whole thing combined, we were pretty upset. So that's why, I guess in honor of the family, we decided not to do anything, and let everything come down, and so we can do this week.
Yeah. So the spine, I just they printed for us. I don't know. I think it's pretty clear that his spine is like this. So this is exactly how he took the X-ray, and that's his right. So he's like going like this a little bit. So right now he's at 25 degrees, I think, that they said, curvature. So right now you see like his organs are fine, everything's fine. He has a little bit of a hard time sometimes to sleep on the other side. Yeah, the other side, because if he sleeps on the other side, so he compresses this lung, right? And then this one is really already like kind of compressed a little bit, so he has like a harder time. But we try to go, back and forth, and on when while he sleeps, so he's not like just in one side all the time. Yeah, so they said that right now there's nothing we can do about it. Like Richard said, there's nothing we can do about it. We don't want to do anything about it, and I'm like happy about that, right? We have his vest that is like a TLSO vest that they told us that it's pretty much useless, which we were pushing to make Luke. I don't know if you guys ever seen Luke with the vest. It's like it's almost like foam, but it's not. It's like harder.
They have foam with like some irons in the back.
So that vest makes him be straight, right? But it's almost like a cast. Yeah. So it doesn't work his muscles to make it stronger.
It doesn't help him get stronger.
So he doesn't get stronger with it, and whenever we take the vest off, he's like this again.
Because it's gravity. Unless we live in a place there is no gravity, that's a different story.
Yeah. So that's gravity, and that's why when we went, and actually his PT, his physical therapist went with us. We were looking for not answers, but like a game plan. Where should we wear the vest tonight? Shouldn't we do it? Why? How? What's the plan? You know, how can we prevent this? And how can we prevent from getting like much worse so quick, right? Because he goes through like growth spurts like, you know, crazy, and then every time he goes, it's like it's not like you have to go through from the beginning or, you know, from scratch to get him stronger. It's just that he has more length to work with, and then that's when, you know, we have to work it out. So the doctor said there's nothing we can do about it. The only thing we can do is to get him stronger, and we do that regardless. But so it's pretty much it took from us the power of changing that day, and that's where it was hard for us, because we're like, well, we already make him stronger, but he's still going like that, so it's not really preventing. And he said it's not gonna really prevent 100%, you know, he's still gonna get it, because it's like us, all of us, you know, we still have like muscles and we're strong to hold our spine together, but you know, you see older people over time, they're like this or like this, and he has like a pretty big curve on his kyphosis. Here it's really hard to see because he's laying down, but it's really like he's getting really like this. So kyphosis, he said, is not a big issue, because even if he's like really bad, it's just posture. It's not really, it's gonna affect any of his organs. Yeah. So so we're just really like, we're working on to not get his posture that bad, but at the same time, like our focus is to get him stronger so he can hold his head, he can have like more strain on his back, and then not progress the scoliosis as much.
So that being said, we wrap it up in the workouts.
Yeah. It was good that his PT was there, that she was able to tell us, like, you know, she heard from the doctor's mouth whatever he thinks. And she's able to, like, because she's here 3 times a week, she's able to kind of, like, say, okay, let's work on this, let's work on that. And then whatever she guides us through, we work on it when, you know, he doesn't have therapy. And as you guys know, we do a lot with him. So that's where we're at. And it was kind of, for me, it was kind of a reminder of there's things that I cannot control, and that was hard. That was pretty hard to take on, because as a mom and, you know, dad, as a parent, you feel like you can pretty much control everything with your kid, especially when they're kids, like young, and you can make them, like, you can prevent bad things to happen, and especially that, right? Like, you can prevent bad things from happening, and that was hard, that I cannot prevent bad things from happening to Luke in that sense. So so that was hard. That was hard to just swallow and process, but you know, in the next day we got that where I'm not sure what happened with the child, but she was a year older than Luke, and I know the parents were really involved too. So, and she was strict, so she was really similar to Luke. So that was like boom, boom, 2 hits, and yeah. But as life goes on, you know, we all have to go on and, you know, wake up the next day and just be strong for him and be strong for ourselves and just keep, you know, focus on getting him stronger, keep focusing on seeing the bright side of everything and, you know, be positive about, you know, the good things that he accomplished and we accomplished with him and you know,
yeah, one thing
it's
that
all the way you see it, you know, you can be sad for it. Like we went through this process when we had the diagnosis. You can be really sad if you're really sorry for yourself and for him, or you can just
one thing we did
change the page
since the beginning is like, let's focus on what he can do and not what he cannot do, and but it, you know, like it's like Kara said, it's hard sometimes, and it's hard when you listen to that from a doctor or something, or some specialist explaining. But you know, like we sat down and we talked and we said, like, you know what, we can probably like ramp it up a little bit of workouts, maybe focus on the core a little bit more, and go from there. So
you can never lose hope of like changing things or making things better. So that
you need to be aware of the things that you can control, and you know, do the best to prevent. And I think that's been our philosophy all the time. Is like, we don't try to stay in a position of why me, and we try to go actually in the position of why not me, and we go with, you know, like we go, it's like, okay, let's do the best we can with what we have.
Yeah.
And
it's
funny.
Like
we look for the things that Luke can do, and the things that he have a harder time to do. When we see that progress, you know, like it's like an amazing feeling, because we know how hard it is for him to do certain movements, and when he's finally doing it, it's like.
And it's funny because when we were in the doctor's office, he was telling us, listen, he has muscle weakness, right? No. We're on the same page, right? Right? And he felt like he was talking to us like we haven't accepted, or we were not like aware. And that was hard to hear. I'm like, yeah, I know, I get it, but that's not where I'm coming from. Like, I'm coming from where, like, how can I help him? And, you know, that was the kid,
within his challenge, how can we help him? And, you know, I keep repeating that. I'm very spiritual, and I'm a Reiki master as well. And I always try to look at the stuff on the spiritual side. And, you know, like, I keep telling Kara, and I keep telling like everybody that, you know, like I get in touch with, is like, listen, it's his journey. We're here to support him. So, like, I fully accepted his condition and all that, but within that that fact that I accepted, what can I do to help him, you know, overcome and do the things that he's supposed to do, like to accomplish his mission. So that's, you know, like it's a hard topic, because, you know, like nobody wants to feel like that we haven't accepted, but we did accept it. But, you know, like, just because we accept it doesn't mean we're not going to do anything. That we're just going to sit down and watch him grow or keep him in bed. Like, no, he came here for a reason. He came here to have fun, and this is what we're gonna do. You know, like, we're gonna take him wherever we need to, whenever we want to, and all that. But, you know, like, knowing that he's challenged, knowing that some things is gonna be a little harder for him, but, you know, like, I know that, you know, like, we're not stupid, but it's a matter of like, okay, within that, what can we do? And that's what we try to do every day.
Yeah, it's more like, it felt like it's more like this. We accept, we know, we get it, and we're okay with it. And well, it takes a lot of, I guess, talking to other families and, you know, being more, like, it's a process, you know, it doesn't happen overnight, it's a process.
And with time you're gonna get even better.
Yeah,
but
it's a process.
Either way.
But when you get hit with something like that, you just like, you lose your cool, you lose your ground, like you're like, what,
Yeah.
you know? And then I start thinking like, do I live in a bubble? It's like, it's almost like, do I live in a bubble where Luke is getting stronger? You know, he's not that weak that, you know, like people say, and, you know, he sees like, you know, he can really get stronger and do things and this and that. And then when I get out of the house and I go to a doctor's office, he tells me, you know, he's so weak and da 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 da. Yeah. And then
it's tough too on the doctors, I guess, because they don't see it. You know, like
like they see
when
kids,
when
they're
you
really like really strong in every aspect, and then they look at Luke, yeah, he's weak.
Yeah, of course, if I compare him with a standard kid, we're gonna see that he's weak. However, if I compare him with what he was, you're gonna see that he's a lot stronger. So that's the difficulty of talking to doctors, and it's every doctor in general, pretty much, because like they see, you know, like they're not comparing apples to apples. They're comparing like a standard kid with nothing or with some little stuff with Luke, which yes, you're gonna see like a humongous difference, but when you compare with Luke with Luke 2 months ago, it's a whole different ball game. Yeah. And you know, like that's the hard thing, and that's one thing that I think I think a lot, at least, is like you can't be comparing, you can't be testing people in different skills with the same preset. You know, you just can't, because you know Luke have his challenge, and within his challenge you need to see how much he grows. Like the way I like to see is what's the name of that test?
The chopping 10.
The chopping 10, which is created for SMA kids, but they use it on Luke, the test. And every time his scores go up, that's for me, it's where, because then he's comparing him to Luke with Luke. But even within that test, you know, like he's still a kid. He's like almost 2 years old. Some days he's not gonna want to do crap, and then you can't test like a kid like that without taking that in consideration. So that's the thing. Is like that's what I find that it's hard. It's not hard accepting or stuff, but it's hard when they compare someone with somebody else. And that happened once in the NICU, where the doctor came in and he was just saying like, oh, he's just pure weak, he's not getting stronger. We were like, okay, wait. I don't know who you're talking to. And then after we talked and he already put us like really down, he went to test Luke, and then he's like, well, he's actually getting stronger. Like, listen, we're trying to tell you here for the last half hour that he is getting stronger. But you know, like, so I guess, I mean, it's hard when...
Yeah, blame us if you want, you know what I mean? Like, you know, judge us if you want, but we want to see the good part of it. We want to see the good perspective. And me, I guess, me more than Richard. Richard has the spiritual part that I'm going to get there one day. But he has this spiritual part where he's like, you know, Luke has a mission, da 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 da. And I'm like, I get it, but he's getting stronger. And, you know, we're just going to extend his mission, you know. We're just going to put it a little further. We're going to push a little further.
Well, it's just helping him, like, do what he needs to do.
Yeah, but, I mean, like, I try not to think about those things, right? I just try to not think like, oh, yeah, his lifespan is going to be lower than, I don't even want to talk about it, but like his lifespan is going to be lower than, you know, a regular person. Or I'm like, I get it, but I'm living day by day, you know. And in that day, that doctor told me that he's really weak, and then there's something that is happening to him that's harming him, that we cannot prevent. And down the road, if he needs to fix it, he's not going to be strong enough to fix it and that was hard.
Yeah.
Okay, but we don't need to talk about that anymore. Like I said, blame or judge me if you want, but I try to be as positive as I can. And sometimes, don't take me wrong. Sometimes I go down, and my friends that we have a little group that have kids with the same condition that. They know because I always go to them because they understand, and their kids are older than Luke, so they understand they went through probably already or they went differently, but they can give me tips that will help me to go through it. And
but just to have an idea, when we talk about the spiritual part, it's I remember the day that we were in the hostel and Kara kept asking me why, and then I told her, listen, you're not going to be able to get an answer in this physical part of it. You just can't. The answer that we're always going to get with anything, it's going to be on the energetic level or the soul, whatever you may want to call it. So, the answer that we might get to all this, it's on the energy level, it's on the spiritual level, and it's nothing like that we can explain physically. But that's what I usually try to hold on, and I try to listen to my intuition as much as possible. I do have trouble listening to it, but and this is what at least it helps me, and I can help Carol with it. So I try to always go to ask the universe for guidance.
Yeah, and I just
follow me.
Yeah, I just if I can touch, I can feel, which is really hard. After Luke was born, I started feeling more that way, but I'm still not even close to what he feels. But I believe he came for a reason, and that we all met and discussed this and decided we want to do this together. So I hold on to this sometimes. I'm like, listen, I'm not ready. You're not ready. We're not ready. We're not going anywhere. So, and then having said that, tomorrow we have a surgery. Yeah, Luke is gonna get one of the things that happens to, I don't know if we explained that before, did we? To this muscle weakness is that his testicles supposed to go down with muscle strength when he is in my belly or the mom's belly, but it didn't happen, and
sometimes when it doesn't happen, normally happen within a year that the kid is born.
And it didn't happen for Luke, and they can actually not even see it through ultrasound. In Florida, one of the surgeons that did his YouTube, she said we can see it. It's gonna be an exploratory surgery, and it's kind of a big deal. I think he's too young for it. But she was a general surgeon, so she's see a urologist and see what they say. So when we came here, to the children's hospital, we talked to a urologist, and he's I do that all the time. There's lots of kids that happens, and I do that all the time. And sometimes you just go in and boom, you find them, and they're right there, and then you just have to do some tricky some stuff, and then they drop by themselves, or sometimes there's a second surgery that we have to do. So tomorrow it's a big deal because it's for us it's probably a surgery that we have been talking about it since birth, and we have postponed for this and that reason, and at some point we decided we're not going to do it, period. And then if we didn't do it, the testicles could stay whatever they are and develop as a cancer because they're not supposed to be wherever they are. They're supposed to be in the sac. So we don't want him to have to deal with that down the road. So plus puberty and all this stuff that
with the hormones and puberty and technically this is the last thing that he needs to go through in terms of surgery. after that, it's pretty much managing myopathy. But
And his scoliosis, like
his
the
scoliosis,
spine might be something down the road, like, you know.
yeah, you will depend on that, because to get that surgery done, it needs to get to a 50-degree first.
Yeah. And we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to like.
We just want to get him stronger, and if in case he doesn't get
like
stronger,
our goal now,
and he gets to 51 degrees, then we start.
We
talking
think about it,
it.
yeah. And well, we have the ear tubes every 6 to 10 months every year or something, yeah. But that's like 5 minutes, so that's easy.
That's really easy.
And so he's gonna go under.
It's about an hour and a half.
Yeah, and it's kind of scary
because I'm a guy and he's messing with his balls. I'm pretty scared. I told the doctor, you better not mess it up.
Well, I'm not, like, it's not like I am scared. I have to say I'm a little scared. Because every time he's under, you know, you just want to see him back. Boom. Yeah. You know? And then, one thing that brings me back a big memory, is that when he did his G-tube, before the trach, and all the NICU nurses that were there, they're gonna remember that, and the respiratory therapist too. It was like the biggest... Yeah, it was the biggest scare moment that I had. I think one of the biggest, because the 911 call was the biggest. Yeah, one of the biggest.
Which one day we can talk about that.
Yeah, that I had in my life with Luke, because all the nurses in the NICU were on top of him, and they called the doctor right after his surgery, and he was like. Bagged, and but that was before the
he didn't have a trick. So what happened was he had just done the G-tube and the muscle biopsy, so it was kind of like a long surgery. Yeah,
and he was
like
under
about
for a
an
long
hour,
time. Yeah,
and he was under for a
and then
long
you think
time.
about it, he has like muscle weakness, so like to come back like and make all his muscles work
again.
Yeah, it's like a big deal, but. Now he has a machine to help him breathe. Yeah. And then he didn't have like that good of support.
So when he was already extubated, so his lung collapsed. And then luckily enough, we had a nurse that wasn't his nurse, and she saw from far like, oh, he's turning blue. And then she jumped and started bagging him, and they called the doctor. So yeah. I think it was like the right lung got collapsed, and but like you said, he didn't have a trach on that time. With a trach now, it's a lot easier to manage those things, because they can put more pressure, less pressure, anything like that. So
yeah, and then we have access to his lungs, boom, right there. Yeah. Before he had to go through his mouth, blah 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 blah. Yeah.
And I told the doctor, like, I really don't care if the testicles, when they go down, if he gonna be able to reproduce, because we already know it's probably gonna be a little harder for him. But I did say to him that as long as he can go out to the playground, we're good with it.
Okay, yeah, that is jokes. If you guys not used to it yet, get used to it. Even
Luke is laughing, like, right, Lukey?
Yeah, so the doctor said it was pretty simple, and it's supposed to be outpatient, but because he has the trach and stuff, we're gonna be overnight in the hospital, and
which we might be able to get a date, right?
Yeah, right. Like, I'm gonna leave my son after the surgery.
No, he's gonna be in the hospital with plenty of nurses.
I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah. Yeah, he told me, like, oh, you can go and sleep at home, blah blah blah, because like, I get paid 15 hour a day, but since Luke is gonna be in the hospital, I won't get paid. So technically, I have the day off.
Well, I offer her, like, you can go sleep at home, and I'll stay there with Luke, but she said no. Yeah,
I should get paid even more, because I'm gonna be like on top of him. Yeah, and then so we're gonna stay overnight, and hopefully everything's gonna be okay, and we're gonna be posting it on his Facebook or something, right? We're gonna update people. After that, we just recover. I don't know. We don't know exactly. Oh, he talked about fertility. So the doctor said eventually, maybe even we could say fertility.
Yeah.
Which is
because
like,
he's doing it before 2 years old.
yeah.
So.
Which is like give me hopes of being a grandma one day. Not necessarily, you know, he's gonna want to, but.
But you can be a grandma, but if you bring another one to the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I see. So, yeah. So, one thing I want to discuss about, we wanted to talk about a little bit, really quick. The fact that we are by ourselves here, it's a big deal for us that we're like, we always have, like in Florida, we were there for like 9 years. So, we have so many friends. Like, so much support, right? Like, not so many friends per se, but like so much support around us. Like we could call if anything happens. Like you know, like when we were in the hospital, boat was walked like by different people and
we actually had like more than 10 people. Like I can walk your dog.
Yeah. So and here we actually have a very, very, very amazing family that is the same as has the same kid with the same disease as Luke condition. And the English family, and they're awesome. They already offer me, and I'm like, I told Richard, I could never think that I would be so nice to someone. They already offer like whatever you need. We're off that day, or da da da, you know, and that makes us feel so good. But besides them, we have, and they have their own families too here, so it's not like you know. But besides them, we have like no family whatsoever, and Luke has no access to other kids and cousins, and you know. And we think about putting him in school when he's like 3 or 3.5.
Whenever Mama let it go.
whenever I'm ready. So he has this interaction, and don't get me wrong. Like like when I was talking about the doctor, I thought like, do I make him live in a bubble? No, I don't, because you guys see, we go out all the time. We just avoid germs. That's all we do.
Close places. Yeah,
close places. But other than that, we go out and, you know, if he's up to it, we go. But we're the only things that he has. Yeah. Like, the only ones. Like, he doesn't have any, besides his therapist.
Yes.
Which they come in, he say hi, and they're like, let's go to work.
They're adults, too.
And then when they're halfway done, he's like, bye.
Exactly.
So they're nice, but you know, it's work. And
so bringing a brother or a sister would be good for him.
Yeah, so that he's talking about that right now, and I think it's a lot of work, and I think I don't know if I'm ready yet, and well, I know I'm not ready yet.
That's the only thing you know.
I know I'm not ready yet, but I do think that it could be very beneficial for Luke to have even his cousins close by would be nice. Yeah. So my brothers, your brothers, if they could move here, that wouldn't be a bad idea. Because
that guy over there, he doesn't speak any Portuguese.
Oh yeah, both.
He only barks. So
yeah, he's a nice dog and nice friend, and I think like that interaction of family is different. And friends like family is different too. So I'm really happy that, you know, the English family, it's like they're really nice. They're really nice people. And, you know, Jackson, the kid that has...
They love each other, right?
It's like, he is like the cutest, you know, with Luke. And that's really nice. But he's 5, and he knows so much, you know. He feels like, for me, he feels like compared to Luke, he's an adult.
He's a mini genius, kid.
Yeah. So, you know, having kids like more close to his age, and I think it would be nice. But that's one topic for another episode. We're thinking. Well, he's decided.
I've decided.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
I am like 100% sure that. But don't get me wrong. I'm not. You know, like I'm not wanting to have another one just because of Luke or anything like that. I really want to have 2 kids. I think it's a good number. And I even told Carol, Once we have the second one, I can close my factory. I can cut it off. Not the whole thing, just cut it off the part that, you know. And I'm totally fine with that. I think 2 kids, it's a good number, and I think it will not only help us, but it will also help Luke.
Yeah.
And
You
know,
guys
I grew up
can
with
leave your
2
opinion there
brothers.
and see what
Yeah, you can
think.
comment in there, and then we can maybe talk about it with the comments later.
Yeah.
But you know, like I grew up with 2 brothers, and I think it was fine. And one thing I always told Carol, like, listen, Luke might need help, and if one day none of us are here, normally the brother sister they would help. So I think.
Well, the selfish part of me says it's a lot of work. But I also don't want it to overlook Luke's needs for another baby. And so that's where I am at right now. Like, it's going to be a lot of work, and Richard's going to school, and eventually I want to go back to school, so... And
Yeah,
we're not getting any younger, so patient and this and that. So
but
it's
the thing I said, and I think the PT said too, it's like the kid's gonna interact with Luke as well. So technically, you're not taking attention from him, but you know they're gonna interact with each other because they're a lot closer in age.
Yeah.
So, but. She didn't understand that yet. I mean, it's not that she didn't understand it. She didn't. I don't know. You probably don't feel that yet.
no, I
you know,
understand.
like,
I understand.
but
I think it's important. It's just when I think about 10 months of pregnancy, because it's 10 months, all you know.
yeah, 40 weeks is not
Yeah.
9 months.
And you know, and my way of like thinking all the time about everything, planning everything, and then you know.
Yeah, that's when the
And then
when
10 more
the
months.
physical side don't agree with the spiritual side.
No,
then
and then
she
12
goes-
more months or more of breastfeeding, which with Luke, I did 10 months of pumping, and he had like breast milk for 10 months of pumping, which was like,
crazy.
yeah, yeah,
Crazy.
yeah. My boobs were like done at the end.
Yeah,
And they're back now. No, well, no, let's not talk about that. Okay, so I think that's it for today, right?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, if you guys can send a lot of good energy, good
Yeah.
vibe for us. Also, we will post on Luke's Facebook and ours as well, and we'll let everybody know when he's out.
Yeah.
And
His surgery is scheduled
back
for
away.
9:15 a.m. here in Colorado, so mountain time.
Mountain time.
Yeah, and I don't
We
know.
live in the mountains. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so what is going to be in Florida? 2 years different? 2 hours different?
2 hours different.
Yeah. So Florida, you know, for people that are in Florida, our friends, it's going to be 2 hours difference because it's Eastern time, so it's going to be at 11:15. And in Brazil, it's going to be 3 hours difference from here, so it's going to be at 12:15. So if you guys can just, you know, have a good thought about Luke and send, you know, prayers, whatever it's your, you know.
Yeah, we're
your
not religious,
faith.
but whatever rocks your boat, it's welcome. So we said that too when we were in the NICU as well. A lot of people say, like, do you mind praying for that? I was like, no, not at all. We don't have a specific religion, but as long as it's made it from the heart with love, it's always welcome. So whatever rocks your boat out there, meditation, Reiki, whatever, if you want to send it to us, that's fine. If you don't want to send it, that's fine too. But
If you want to
it's
think
always
about Luke
welcome,
that
yeah.
time, and you know the doctors and the anesthesiologist, and that's the guy that I always like. You better take care of my son.
like I said, it's his ball.
Yeah. All right. So
All
everybody have a good week. Rest of the week and weekend. We'll be back next week, and we keep you posted on Facebook, and we go from there. And you know, any questions, any comments you may have, any questions you may have, any comments you have, just let us know.
Alright.
Say bye-bye, Luki.
Thanks for watching. See you next Wednesday.
Is that you?
Is that you, Loki?
Say bye. You wanna say bye? He's playing his toy here, so he's like, when the toy stops. Here, let me see.
That's his favorite.
What about now? You wanna say bye-bye? Bye!
Bye.
Beijinho.
Can you blow a kiss?
Take this out of your mouth.
Blow a kiss, Loki.
You give him all the past mirrors and he wants to chew on that thing. No kiss? Não tem beijo hoje? No?
No kiss?
He's tired.
He's on a strike for kiss.
Yeah.
Alright.
Alright, guys.
Thank you. See
Bye.
you next Wednesday.
See ya.